Hello?
Hey,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you okay. I wasn't expecting to be on this line because I don't think I have your number. You have mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I may have had your number 10 years ago, but I don't have it now. And the number that I had from 10 years ago got changed a long time ago.
Okay. Do not have to give you this number. I'm surprised. I thought you calling me through messengers had my number on it.
No. I'm calling
I
you
don't know.
through your Facebook account, but it's okay. Let's try to roll.
Okay.
How was your day?
It was great, and yours?
If you'd asked me any other time, I would say, "Oh, it's great, it's fine, it's wonderful. I'm highly favored and on top and rising." I would say all that stuff, but today I'm just gonna say it was a day. I'm gonna try to be honest for once. Not that I'm not always honest. So I'm saying I'm gonna change it up. I'm just gonna be. It was just a day.
What made it such a date?
I think sometimes I'm usually in good standing with life, and I am in good standing with life today. But sometimes a day will get you instead of you getting it. So this is just one of those days that may have just gotten me.
Understood.
Yeah,
We don't have those days.
yeah. So yeah, but it's okay though. Do you know any? Well, listen. When we're off air, by the way, we're on the air now. I told you when I called you we'd be live, and I've got all kinds of stuff going on. But after we finish this, I'm going to call you back, and we're going to catch up, just you and me. This is now about my live stream and us being on the air. So you okay with that?
I'm fine.
Okay. So do you know anything at all about my platform? What I do?
No, not at all.
Okay, I'm gonna prep you a little bit. It's called SWIM, SWYM. That's the acronym for Say What You Mean. It's simply talk about talking. What I do is provide self-therapy, and occasionally I will have a guest. I will come on and I'll talk about different subjects, different topics, and it's pretty much bringing awareness to how we listen, how we hear, and what we do with the information we gather in a conversation. I don't know if you've ever had a disagreement or an argument with anybody, but I would bet every dime that I've got that it has to do with not listening, not hearing, not always saying what you mean as opposed to saying what you feel, and those emotions getting caught up in if I want my way, I'm going to probably talk a little louder and be a little more forceful. If you want your way, you're probably going to be a little less considerate, of what I want. And oftentimes when there's chaos, particularly between two people, it spreads, according to how many people are involved. It usually involves listening without putting your own agenda up front. Can you agree with any of that at all?
Oh, I could agree with all of that. All of that. What you're saying it's weird because I was mentioning this to someone recently about effective listening and effective communicating.
Right.
And sometimes we listen to respond and not listen to understand and hear what the other person is saying.
And it happens all the time.
It happens all the time in the smallest and largest of conversations.
And here's what I like to say this, and this is a question I'm going to ask you before we get going. I'm going to start the clock in a few minutes. I guess this is our icebreaker / warm up. But do you believe there's an answer to every question and a solution to every problem? Yes or no?
No.
You don't believe there's an answer to every question?
I do not, because there may be some questions that you cannot answer because it may be a life situation that you must go through in order to get the experience and come out the other end of it. At that point, you may have a answer, but every answer may be for a question may be different. Sometimes you have to experience it in order to, be able to respond to it. Everything is not an automatic answer. I think you have to sometimes endure and go through to really become wiser and more in tune with what you're looking for.
I agree with you 100%, and I'm not contesting anything you're saying. However, I don't think that was, exactly what I was saying. But that means that if you go through it and then you eventually learn something on the other end, you probably got an answer in some
That's
form.
true.
So,
Yeah, there is an answer. It's how you get to the answer. I should say that.
exactly. So my question is, do you believe there's an answer to every question and a solution to every problem?
Yes.
Oh, whew. Okay, so just now, what just happened? I want to ask you a question. You said no at first, correct?
Yes, I said no at first.
Okay,
Initially.
then you were presented with some different information. Here's what I want to ask you. You changed your answer after some different information was presented, correct?
Yes.
Okay, this is my question to you. Were you persuaded? Were you manipulated? Or were
No.
you just exposed to some different information that caused you to take your time and think about the question?
I was exposed to different information that, sometimes if you hear from a different perspective or get more knowledge, it gives you an opportunity to rethink your answer and become more aware and be able to say, okay, well, I didn't look at it like that since you brought that up, and I'm able to reevaluate my answer. Now I see it from a different perspective and I can answer differently.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So, what about world peace? Do you believe world peace can actually happen? Yes or no?
No,
You really don't?
I really don't think. I sit back sometimes and I think about that, and until people learn to acknowledge each other's shortcomings and acknowledge that each other differences and respect it, no. It's too many people out there that are looking for personal gratification and personal financial gain off other people, and the biases that some of them have also plays into that. So no, I don't think we'll ever have world peace. I think we're always going to have a different opinion, but we don't have to be violent and we don't have to be disrespectful. We could agree to disagree.
Okay. So, all right, I get that. So, world peace, the lack of world peace, has to do with personal agendas. Yes or no?
Yes.
So, if we could remove personal agendas, I have this thing that I go by, and it's like filters. Anytime there's chaos and you're not sure how to solve a problem, I think if you run your problem through universal principles, that's things that cannot change no matter what. Then you run them through points of references, things that have pretty much been established in society. That is a reasonable expectation of normal, average, sound-minded people, and then the law. Your personal agenda or your personal thoughts, feelings, or beliefs really don't have a place in that. If every problem we have, if we can run it through those filters, I think we can get to the resolve of most things. So as it relates to world peace, wherever that would begin, whatever the first question is, or whatever the first problem is, if we can say, okay, is there anything that we can do about it from a universal perspective? Whatever we can do about, whatever we can't do about it, or is it, a reasonable expectation? There's certain things we know that society expects of us as normal people, and then there's the law. The law has been established in different states, countries, cities, counties, and there's certain things I can't change. I can't change the law. I can't change what has been set in society as a reasonable expectation, and I definitely cannot change universal principles. So why are we ever having a problem if we're looking at any situation through those filters? Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but we're not doing it. You're saying
Right.
universal principles. Who's setting the principles?
There,
See,
that,
that's the thing. I mean, you have people. You have your principle, and I have mine. But who's really? You have human beings. You have human feelings that I set these principles. Believe it or not.
okay, hold on, right there.
By
That's
his-
what you just said is what I'm trying to get away from. Feelings, human feelings. A universal principle does not involve the feelings of a human. If it's daytime and the sun is out, there's nothing you and me can do to make it nighttime instantly. If it's 12 o'clock midday, unless there's an eclipse of some sort, I can't do anything about that. If it starts raining and we're standing outside, we're going to get wet. I can't do anything about that. So those are universal principles. There's nothing you can do about it, regardless of how you feel.
But you also got people that, regardless of the universe's feelings, they're gonna have their own insight. Yeah, the sun is shining and it's bright out, and we can't dictate what time it become dark. However, they will still take that and they will still manipulate it to their own understanding of it.
Okay, and
You and
that's
I could agree the sun is shining, it's 12 noon, it's a beautiful day. But then you have someone with their own mindset, yeah, the sun is shining, however, it's not a beautiful day. And watch, in a couple of hours, the weatherman says it's gonna storm. You get what I'm saying? They're always gonna put their own little spin onto it.
right. But here's my point. Society has already established that at 12 noon is daytime. That's it. Your feelings or someone else's feelings, I don't care how they manipulate it. And we have to have, that's why I guess we have a jury of our peers, in court. You have to
We
have,
really don't have a jury of our peers in court.
well, that's why we're supposed to.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. People that are on the jury, they're usually screened, and there are people who swear to say that they will not allow their personal biases in. And sometimes they lie, sometimes they don't, but that's my point. Society, we have as a society, has established what is considered a norm for society, correct?
Correct.
Everybody that I know at 12 noon says it's daytime.
Okay.
How about you?
I agree with you.
Okay, so we can't change that. So if
And
we
I-
have, if there's a problem that's going on anywhere and we run that problem through those filters, I believe we can get to the end. Now, if someone still then insists on putting their personal preferences in, that's where we're going to have the problem. And I think we need to find a way to rule, by canceling out personal agendas, especially in times of conflict. If you and I are on the same team and we are agreeing with something, regardless of what someone else says, if you and I are getting along, then you and I, we don't have a problem if we agree to the same thing. If you and I agree that it's nighttime at 12 noon, that's between you and us, and there is no problem, correct?
Correct.
All right. So, yeah, but in times of chaos, we have to find a way to reach a resolve without personal agendas. So that's a good icebreaker.
That's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
In times of conflict, people are going to stand on what they believe are their principle and moral in the situation, and they're not going to want to give in, because sometimes when they give in, they feel like they're compromising their own personal being. Like you said, we have to take the human out of the human personal feelings and do what is best and see it for what it is. 12 noon is daytime. We all agree on that. Let's move on from there. But you have people that are not going to always be open-minded to that.
Okay, so with that being said, that's pretty much what my platform is about. Saying what you mean, meaning what you say, listening and hearing, paying attention to what you're hearing, and reaching a resolve by examining new information. If I say something and you don't agree with it, the reason you may not agree with it is because either I didn't say it right or you didn't hear it right. So you need to make sure you understand what I'm saying, what you're hearing, and we need to then examine it through those filters. So again, that's what my platform is about. That's what I bring awareness to. That's what I strongly believe in. I do believe in world peace. We're not there yet, and you're probably right. We probably won't get there in our lifetime. But let's just say 1,000 years from now, someone digs up one of my my live streams, and they'll say, okay, well, this guy might have been on to something, because if we can actually do this, we really won't have a problem, because a lie can really be discovered if you investigate enough. That's why we have interrogations.
That is very true.
You can ask enough questions at the right time, but through the right people, to where you can discover the truth doesn't need investigating.
Sometimes just them telling the lie initially, you already know that it's a lie.
Yeah, well, that's
trying to convince you that it's the truth.
Right, but I'm saying you if someone is not being truthful or faithful, listen, I've been around 50 plus years, and I'm not embarrassed to say that. I have seen many things go hidden for a very long time. But just as they say, the cream rises to the top, the truth will always be revealed, and the lies are always going to be exposed. It may take a long time. I talk about my favorites all the time, the Central Park Five. I'm sure you know about those boys who were convicted and spent time in jail, and then they were exonerated. Brian Banks.
They didn't do, yes.
Brian Banks. There's so many of them that, they have to go through. And I'm going to go ahead and get religious on you for about 10 seconds. Jesus Christ was jammed up on that cross, but he eventually was exonerated too. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes people can do crooked stuff and they can pull things over, but the truth is always going to rise, and it may take some time. Let's talk about, who else? The Emmett Smith lady, Emmett Till. Sorry, Emmett Smith. Emmett Till. That situation took a long time, but she finally said, okay, well, it wasn't true. It took a long, but look at all the things that had to happen, all the people that had to suffer as a result of, people. A lie. Yeah. Okay.
And people are still suffering.
Yeah. So, well, that's just where I am in my golden age. I'm finding myself, being humble and being vulnerable when it comes to things that are just not right and that we need to make right amongst each other in just generally speaking. But anyway, we've had enough icebreaker. I'm going to start the clock right now.
Okay.
And I'm going to jump right on what I told you I wanted to talk about, your post. And I'm going to find it real fast.
Okay.
And hold on a second. I've got to go through my little stuff here to get to it. And I'm going to get to it now. Okay.
I wonder what I post.
Okay. Well, do you have access to either your phone or your social media right now? Okay. Find the post. This only happened a couple days ago, and I've already addressed this subject. I just want to see how, it unfolds with you. The post that said something about a responsibility of a woman and the affection or something. Maybe I just need to look it up, because I just give me a second. Hold on, because we're gonna get to this. And by the way, the clock is going. All right, this is what I found, and it says a note to fellas, and it says to release her feminine energy, you got to take away her masculine responsibilities. Do you remember that post? Yes or no?
Yes, I remember that.
Okay, calm down, slow down.
No, I'm saying when you said no, I knew exactly what you were referring to.
Okay, all right. So I know you probably reposted that from somewhere, but let me just ask you some questions. By the way, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I'm going to always give you the opportunity to explain if you need an explanation. But there's sometimes I'm going to ask you a yes or no, and I really would appreciate it if you would answer it. If you don't want to answer yes or no, by all means don't. But if you do, I will count that in your book as cooperation, because there are some questions that, I just need clarity on. So first one is, do you believe that, or were you just posting that out of fun? Is that do you believe that?
I believe that.
You believe that. Okay.
I believe that.
Okay. Tell me. Okay. My question is going to be, first of all, why you believe that. But before I do that, I have a couple of more yes or no questions, and they're probably going to be a few. Here's my first question. Is there a difference between a man and a woman? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is a man and a woman equal? Yes or no?
No.
Is a man and a woman the same? Yes or no?
No.
Is a man and a woman not equal? Yes or no?
Yes.
So I kind of threw a curveball in there. A man and a woman is or is not equal?
Is not equal.
Okay. Tell me tell me the three biggest things, the three biggest differences between a man or a woman, the three biggest ones.
The first one, and I'm gonna get a little 10-second on religion on you, based on my study and my reading. The man is supposed to be the head, so he is supposed to be the leader. I think a man is supposed to lead and a woman is supposed to be submissive, but we get so caught up on that word that sometimes they don't understand. Being submissive don't mean just lying down. It means being supportive, being understanding, being supportive. So a man should lead and a woman should support and follow. That's one thing. I think a man is supposed to provide where a woman is supposed to nurture.
Okay, that's two. That's two, by the way.
And then I think that a man is supposed to be able to make a decision, not always what the woman think is best, but what he think is best at the time. Because sometimes women work on emotion and men will work on facts. And sometimes we have to trust his decision-making skills.
What do you mean a woman respond on emotions and men respond on facts? What do you mean? What are you talking about? What are you saying?
When it comes to certain things, women get caught up in the emotional aspect of it. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use this as an example.
Okay, hold on. Before you do that, you do know that we're live now. We're being documented, and what I think you might be about to say, you're gonna have some women that might not like you.
I understand, and I'm okay with that.
And by the way, no one will ever know your name. Your name will be nowhere near this live stream. I don't deal with names, so if someone recognizes your voice, so be it. But now, go ahead. What are you about to say? What is this woman in emotion things? Because what I think you're about to say is not going to sound good or look good for women.
Well, if you're open-minded as a woman, you'll understand, because I'm up in age as well, and I've lived like you have lived, and I have also I understand that we get so caught up on the submissive. But we are meant to be, as women, we are meant to be emotional creatures. So we are meant to be nurturing. We provide as far as making sure the house is right, seeing about our kids. We carry the seed. We birth the seed. So it's a part of us. So we're always emotional and emotionally tied to things. Well, not things, but people. Our kids, our husbands, our family. And sometimes our decision is made on an emotional mindset instead of a clear mindset, excuse me, that men may have. Men look at things sometimes more structured than we do. And that's why I said sometimes we have to trust their decision, because they're looking at it in a different aspect than we are. We're working on emotion. Sometimes we make an emotional decision and then we go back and say, wow, I should have did a little more research, or I should have looked at it more clear than I did when I made that decision.
So, is being an emotional creature, is that a good thing or a not so good thing?
It's a good thing, but you have to keep it in perspective. You have to know when to step out of the emotion and deal with the facts, or try to see it with a clear mind. If you make a decision sometimes in the emotional moment, you may regret it. So sometimes you have to step back, reanalyze it, and then go back to it.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to try to pick up from wherever we were. Okay. So here's my question to you now. Do you have that post in front of you? Can you read it again, or do I need to read it again?
No, I have it here. Note, fellas, to release her feminine energy, you got to take away her masculine responsibility. I'm sorry.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Why should a woman's feminine energy need to be released?
Because that's what we're built to be, feminine. We were not built to be the breadwinner of the house. We were not built to make manly decisions, have manly responsibility, provide for the house. We're going out and working now. We have to bring home the bacon. We have to cook it. We have to do it all. it was never initially designed for us to be sitting in that seat. But when we're doing that, we don't have the time to sometimes dress up and be pretty and be dainty and let that feminine side of us come out, because we're tired. You've been on work the 12-hour day. You got to come home. You got to cook. You got to see about the kids. You got to make sure the bills are paid on time and do all this thing. Not that we don't want to do it. I mean, some of us, we do, but I've spoken with ladies that say they're tired of doing it. They didn't want to do it. They rather have a man that is providing in their home, nurturing and taking care of that aspect of it. But in society today, women have to work. So with that comes the responsibility of making manly decisions, from deciding what job you're going to do, how you're going to work on that job, how you're going to try to move forward as far as getting promoted and providing for the family that you have at home. So when you're making those are masculine decisions, because we have to step into that role now, where initially the man went to work. He worked those hard hours. He worked those hard jobs. He provided for the family. When he got home, the woman was there to cook, had the house clean, make sure the clothes are done, make sure the kids are taken care of, and make sure that he's pleased as well. But we can't do that if we're stepping in that man role and have to go out there and get it for ourselves.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to my original question. Thank you for that. My original question is, why should a woman have to release feminine energy?
Because sometimes we are not treated and we're not able to allow our femininity to come out. Because especially I'll speak for African American women, because that's, what I'm more familiar with. When we let our femininity out, sometimes it seems like being over sexualized. We may wear our hair somewhere, we may wear clothes that we're comfortable in, and we are portrayed differently from sometimes other race. And that plays a part in sometimes the way women carry themselves. On top of what I said earlier, having to work jobs that men originally worked and provided. So sometimes we have to step away, regroup, and learn to release that part of it. Sometimes it comes natural. Sometimes we have to work on it, because we have allowed ourselves we have let go of that side of us in order to be able to be a provider, to be a mother, to be a wife, a supportive wife, and have stepped away from that feminine aura that we naturally have. We have had to suppress it, sometimes just for the very job that we do.
Okay. So now let me ask you another question. You know me to be a man, right? This is something that I don't have to do. I don't have to release my masculine energy. My masculine energy comes with me, and I don't have to withhold it in any kind of way. I'm a man whether you're cooking or cleaning or not. I'm a man whether you're taking care of the kids or not. My masculine energy is not ever going to need to be released. It's never going to be withheld. It's always going to be flowing. As a man, when I need to tend to the needs of a woman in any facet, I'm not going to have to release it. It's just going to be already flowing. As a matter of fact, it's probably too much, especially if we talk about testosterone. I've got so much of it, and most men have so much. We don't need much, to get going. So when I hear releasing a woman's feminine energy, only you can hold that or withhold that. The only way you will need to release something is if you're holding it or withholding it. So I'm just going to speak for a man, for me, myself, and I believe I'll represent a few more brothers. We don't have to release masculine energy. So the first thing, before I could even dissect, the words in the post, when women think that they are now going to be conditionally releasing feminine energy, I think that's a whole nother issue, problem, topic, situation, and as Oprah would say, a whole nother show. So what are your thoughts about the idea of thinking that a woman needs to release it? Why isn't it just flowing naturally?
Because, okay, let me say this. You are a man. You are not put in the situation as women are put in. You are a man. You are not questioned. You are not second guessed about it. You are a man. You are able to release, and you're not questioned about it. Women, we are dissected, we are criticized, and we are condemned sometimes for releasing our femininity.
Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. We're going to keep this nice and clean. It's a family show here. Okay, I believe what you're saying, but I'm just going to differ with you a little bit. Men are definitely judged more than women, and we are definitely...
No, I'm going to have to disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Like they say, you have to walk in my shoes. We are criticized more, from our hair to our makeup to our body image to what we wear, what we don't wear, how we talk, how we carry ourselves. Sometimes we can disagree with somebody and we're automatically seen as angry black women. You know, it's a plethora of things that you all don't go through. You can disagree and walk away and still be seen as that man just had a disagreement.
Okay.
We are judged on hormonal, or it's a hormones, or maybe it's that time of the mind. You know, it's always an excuse made instead of accepting us and our intelligence and our professionalism. Sometimes just being a woman. Just accept us for who we are. We're not asking you to like everything we do, but accept us. But stop making excuses when we don't conform to what people think we should be, or what we are, or what society has painted us out to be. You don't have to go in there and you don't have to prove yourself as much as a woman. If I'm sitting at the head of the table, most of the time, people don't think I should be sitting at the head of the table. Or if I walk in a room in a position that they're used to seeing a man in, and all of a sudden they see a woman walking in the room, they second guess you walking out, from the very moment. You know, and I've had careers where that happened often. You know, they'll walk in the room and they'll address a man thinking a man is in charge when I'm actually the one in charge. And then all of a sudden the whole mindset, the demeanor change, all of that.
Okay. But you said in the beginning of our conversation that men are conditioned or structured to lead, correct?
Yes.
So when a woman is in a leadership position, I'm never going to say she can't be. Are you surprised that most people in general are a little taken aback, for lack of a better word?
No, I'm not surprised. Sometimes I expect it. Because when you work in some of the positions that you work in, and it's been mostly a man-dominated profession or man-dominated field, to see a woman walk in it and have the authority that equal to what the men have, some men are not ready for that. And some men are not ready to take direction and guidance and leadership from a woman because they've been conditioned that this position was mostly held by men.
Okay, hold on. I've got to put us on pause. Listen, this has never happened, and I've been doing this for about 2.5 years, and I've never had to do what I'm about to do now. I'm going to stop and put us on pause for a moment.
Mighty Horn Music. Smooth jazz, top 40, R&B, inspirationals, and more. Live from the Hollywood Home Studio. Like, share, subscribe. And thanks for tuning in.
Do you remember where we were?
We were talking about femininity and masculinity.
Okay, so this is my thing. I just gave you an example of how I don't have to release my masculinity. Does that make sense to you? Because I'm a man, my masculinity is always flowing, and it's not going to be determined by what any woman does or what anyone else does. So when...
It should not be.
Pardon?
And it should not be.
Right. So then how does that work for women? Why isn't the femininity of a woman automatically always flowing? And
Because we are judged differently. Like I said before, we are judged from the womb to the tomb. No matter what we say, how we carry ourselves, we do our hair, we have a bad day, we have to get out and be self-employed and make decisions in the past that men made and and put the work in and basically bring home the bacon. So we're judged differently because you can go to work, you can work, come home, go to the gym, work out, they call you responsible. They call you, you being a man, as they put it. We go to work, we come home, we bring the bacon home, for lack of a better word. Then if we have kids, we got to see about the kids, we got to get them together, we got to cook. And if we're married, you guys take care of the husband because he has his needs, he wants his time. And on top of that, we're dealing with the body and the changes of the body, emotions, hormones. We're dealing with a lot of that. So along the way, we're always being judged by, if not our significant other, we're being judged by society. We judge each other. It's constant. You're not constantly being judged. So you don't have to worry about your masculinity flowing. It's going to flow because it's expected to flow the way it flows for men. But for women, we're expected to be, on top of all of this that we have the responsibility of doing, we're expected to be feminine. We're expected to carry ourselves a certain way. And then we're judged on that as well. If we don't carry ourselves in a way that society has condoned us to be. And I say condone with a reason because society always have this perception of what a woman should be. And most of the time that perception is made by people that are not women. We can't get older without being judged as being old. For example, you can get old and you can have gray hair and you're seen as distinguished, handsome, wisdom. We get old and get gray hair, we're old. And sometimes we are being replaced. We have hormonal changes, our body change, and we're being judged on that. You're not working out, you're not eating right, you're not doing this, you're not doing that, your hair is this, or you got a love handle one too many, and it's just judgmental. So we are constantly being judged as compared to in a way that men are not being judged. Because if your masculine is flowing in all the time, it's expected, it's supposed to be. And you're not questioning on it. And that's what I mean by that.
But I have a choice to withhold or hold my masculinity. If I don't think a woman is doing what she should be doing, let's just say a significant other, if I don't think she's doing what she should be doing, should my masculine energy be withheld?
That's an option.
Right. So
choice.
Okay. But you're saying it's not an option for a woman?
It is not an option for a woman.
So
you have more, what I would say, leeway, for lack of a better word, than we do as women. Men have more leeway with the way they exhume their masculinity, their choices. We're not even on the same level when it comes to that. Because like I said, you're judged totally different than I am.
Well, I should be. I am totally different from you, so I should be judged different from you. And
what I mean by that is you're not constantly judged on everything. You may be judged on some things, but not everything. I can leave the house, and if I leave the house at my age in a skirt, and I can have sexy legs, and hair, bumping, makeup bumping, everything looking right, and someone is going to be judgmental. If it's not the little old lady saying your skirt shouldn't be above your knee, it's going to be the lady your age, not your age, when I say the same age as I, figure you should be wearing that. Those days that you wearing that should be over, Or it may be the man that say, oh, well, she wearing it like this, she must be wanting the attention I'm finna give her. Not a respectful attention, but another type of attention. And all you want to do is dress up, look nice for yourself, and be feminine, and walk out the door and have a good time. Going to lunch by yourself, and you're going to be judged.
Okay, maybe we should do a little more distinguishing of what judged mean.
Okay.
Judge, because Tupac said it best. Only God can judge us now, because we can have an opinion. I mean, do you really care what someone says about you? Yes or no?
Oh no.
Okay.
I am living a life where I don't care. I can care less.
Okay, so then it doesn't matter if someone is judging you.
No, but sometimes you have to get to that point, because as a young lady, as young ladies, they're young ladies are starting to be just. Social media to me is a pro and a con, and the con is it is used by people to, how I want to say this, to.
Okay, what I'm trying to do. Okay, I'm trying to get to the extreme nuts and bolts of the topic.
Okay.
And I'm being a little lenient because I really want you to express yourself. But I'm trying, and this is what it sounds like. If I can be real, can I be real, ma'am? May I be real?
Yes, sir.
I think I'm hearing you, and if there's a nice way to say it, it sounds like you might be making a few excuses.
No, I'm stating facts. It's no excuse.
No, I said it sounds like it. If I'm wrong, I'm okay being wrong.
You are definitely wrong, because, like I said, you have not walked in a woman's shoe. So it may sound. Now, I'm not surprised that it sounds that way to you. I'm not, because when we explain ourselves about what we endure, yeah, it's seen as excuses. There's a bunch of excuses that we are giving to the opposite sex when it's our reality, because we're living it. You said that I don't have to exhume. I naturally carry my masculine. I show it. It comes out, and that's great. But we are not given the same fortitude as you are as a man, and we, like you said, we shouldn't. We're different. How we're judged from the womb to the tomb. So it's not an excuse. It's facts. I mean, if you ask any other woman, someone would say the same. I'm not saying all of them, but quite a few will. The judgment and the ridicule and the totality of it is different. So it's no excuse. I've lived it. I'm in my 50s with you, so I've lived it. From like I tell you, the career choices I made to, the relationships I've been in, to just being a woman.
Okay. Do you think men are held accountable more than women?
I don't.
Yes or no? Are men held accountable or responsible?
No. And I don't like this yes or no, but I'm gonna have to go with no.
No, you don't know. You don't have to. I mean, because you can.
This is why, because you can walk away from certain. You could disassociate yourself from different situations and move on. And
okay, name me one way that a woman is held more responsible than a man.
If you walk away from a child that you had and want nothing to do with, it's different than if a woman does it.
Well, yeah, but is it in a woman's? Does a woman benefit more from that than or a man?
A man does, because he could move on and still be seen as a man. A woman doesn't. She's seen as a horrible person for not being a mother to her child. She is judged totally different. Because despite a mom is expected to endure and stay with that kid and raise that kid. Well, a man can walk away and move on and have a whole nother family and have nothing else to do with that family and still seen as a man, still seen as the breadwinner, the head of household, everything. Well, a woman would be basically raked through the coals for making the same decision.
But there's one difference that I think you're leaving out of that.
And what is that?
A woman can get the justice system to attack this man's finances. A woman can.
Speaking of finances,
I didn't say I'm not.
It's not always about
I didn't say it was. I'm saying we're only talking about the difference. A woman is more likely to hold a man accountable through the court. Just like, okay, a woman, you saying a man can walk away. A woman can walk away from raising a child and nothing will happen. If a man walks away,
I disagree.
Hold on. Okay, slow down. Okay. If a man walks away from the financial responsibilities of a child, he is going to be held accountable by the justice system. Yes or no?
So will a woman, yes.
Okay.
Now I can tell you the course I
Okay, hold on. I need to finish because you answered yes, but then you threw a little extra, sauce on it. So, a woman can walk away from the actual birth of a child. A woman can give up parental responsibilities through adoption, through abortion, through so many different ways where she's not held accountable for that. But a man can't do that. A man cannot walk away from the responsibilities of a child. A man can walk away from the responsibility of a woman and the responsibility of a family, but not the responsibilities of a child. A man will definitely be held accountable for that. Wherein, as a woman can terminate a pregnancy or decide not to get pregnant altogether. So I'm thinking that is something that I think is not only unfair. Do you think that's fair? Yes or no? Do you think it's
that a man can or cannot walk away?
That a man cannot walk away, but a woman can. A woman can determine if she's not, for whatever reason, a woman can decide she does not want to birth a child or take care of the responsibilities of a child, but a man cannot do that. Do you think that's fair, yes or no?
That's not a yes or no answer.
Ooh.
That is not a yes or no answer.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, it may not be an easy yes or no answer, but it is definitely a yes or no question. So here's my question to you. I'm not saying it's easy, and I know it's difficult, especially with you being the woman, especially after what you just said. You said a man can walk away. Well, you might have a point there, but there's a little more to that, because I didn't contest you. I didn't say, no, a man can't this, that. I'm just now investigating what you're saying. I think a woman can walk away much easier than a man, but you don't agree with that.
When you say about having the abortion and stuff, yes, I
okay, hold on. We're talking. Hold on. Okay, I need you to just slow down with me, and I appreciate you being. I promise I'm not going to overtalk you or outtalk you, and I'm not going to disrespect you. But as a facilitator, I might need to say hold on for a few minutes. That doesn't mean you can't talk, but just work with me. Just be patient with me. Okay. Ultimately, the big picture. Now, once you start getting into the gray stuff, you're going to win based on what you're saying. And if you notice, I'm not contesting anything you said. When you just said a man can walk away and this and that, I didn't say you're wrong. I didn't disagree. I just said okay. But now that I'm having the opportunity to speak, I think a woman has the ultimate ability to walk away. Do you agree with that? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think it's fair that a man will be held more accountable? Because my original question was, who's held more accountable? And you said, no, a man is not held more accountable than a woman. Then you went to talking about the raising the kids and the man walking away. If a man does not want to have a child, in most cases, when children are born, men don't get to make that choice. So if a woman gets the choice to make, to bring the child into the world, the man I think I don't want to say it's fair, but it just kind of works out that way where a man says, okay, I don't want this responsibility for whatever reason. If a man knows he cannot handle the responsibility of a child and he says, no, I don't want to be a father, he should be able to say that and do that because a woman can. And this is an old argument. This has been going on for years and years and years. But now we're talking about it in 2023 to very intelligent people who are finally going to put this to rest. You and me, we're going to make history tonight. Just you and me. We're going to be famous.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think you're going to like my response to
I'm not, listen, whether I like it or not is irrelevant, but let me just get some yes or no's out of the way.
Okay.
This is a yes or no question. Is it fair that a woman can make that decision and a man can't? Yes or no?
No, it's not fair.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to contest anything you say. Whatever your response is going to be, it's going to be. As a matter of fact, I'm going to respect it. But I want you to just be considerate. If a man does not choose to be a father for whatever reason, and we're talking post-conception, of course, before the pizza gets there, nobody wants any of it. But as soon as the box opens and they smell it, everybody wants a piece. Let's just reverse that. Post or pre-conception, there is no rules. After conception, that's where the rules start for everyone. So a woman can decide, for one, to have the morning after. She can have an abortion. She can go for adoption. She can do so many other things. She can even get, support from the state, after the baby's here. But a man is not likely to get that much support. So I just want to hear your response as to how a woman is held more accountable than a man in that regard.
Because now you were saying that a man don't have a choice, a woman have more choices, correct?
That's not correct because I say it's correct. That is definitely a fact, and you agreed to it. So yes,
I agree to it.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna go piece by piece with it.
Yeah, go piece by piece with it.
You said that the government will hold the father financially accountable, whether he wants to be a part of the child life or not.
At the woman's request, yes, the government will definitely hold a man financially responsible. Yes.
Also, those roles are reversing. I have known cases personally where the woman do not have custody of the child.
Okay, hold on. Can I stop you for a minute? I'm asking. If you want to keep going, but we're not talking about what's happening or what's starting to change. We're talking about at the point. Most men who don't want to be fathers, they know they don't want to be fathers the moment they know conception has happened. A woman usually knows within 30 to 60 days if she has conceived, correct?
Yes.
Okay. At that time, she can decide if she wants to move forward with that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because a man cannot, you already said it's not fair. So anything that happens after the fact where a man is then forced to take financial responsibilities, I'm thinking that's not fair also. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying what's good enough for the gander ought to be good for the goose also. It just doesn't work like that. Everybody knows it. Men have been crying and begging and pleading for thousands of years for this to not have to happen. Women should be held more accountable, for the choices they make in terms of childbirth, and they're not. So when you say women are held more accountable than men, I'm just going to say you're not wrong, but that is not factual.
That was well put. Now let me say this. I think a man should have a choice after conception, and unfortunately that's not always afforded to the man or his decision respected. Now, you are right. The courts will go in and hold him financially responsible. Let me ask you this. Are you aware, do you know if the woman is held financially responsible in that process? I
already told you, I'm not contesting that in any kind of way. I am going to say this. Yes, I do know. In the
past, I would say this. In the past,
okay, let me just say this.
More financially responsible.
No, hold on. Let me say this. Even now, and I know things are probably changing in some cases, but I'm going to say less than 15% of men go after women for spousal support and or child support. Most men, if they decide to take on the responsibilities of a child, they don't even want the help of the mother. Some do, and I'm just saying, I'm just going to just throw it out there. We can do the research. I think less than 15% of men go for women in court for child support and or spousal support. Most men are just not comfortable doing that.
Since when? Because I have to totally disagree with you on that.
You can disagree, and so you think it's even? You think more men are filing for child support than women?
I think it's more than 15%. Yes.
Oh, I didn't say more than 15%. Okay. Do you think more men have women on child support than men?
No.
Okay. Well, there we go. That's the only point I'm making.
But I will say this: men are now holding the women more accountable than they did in the past.
Okay. Well, they should. They should, and rightfully so.
I totally agree. They
rightfully
should.
So. Okay. Now we've had this talk, and I think I want to tell you a story. And then we're gonna go, because now we're getting into the time. I say I like to be on time. I want to tell you a story, and I want your opinion about it. Okay? And this is kind of a real live experience, so I want you to listen to the full story. And I'm not sure if we broke the record or not. Maybe we did not, wake up the world with our conversation. We'll try again another time. But as it relates to this story I'm going to tell you, I just want you to listen first, and I'm going to try to give you the short version of it. Okay. I had a conversation with a person, and the person has a little boy, and the little boy is about 14 years old. And this is a lady, and she was saying to me that the little boy doesn't want to have anything to do with his father, because his father doesn't do this, his father doesn't do that. His father doesn't come and see him, his father doesn't do this, his father doesn't care about anything he talked about. So somehow or another, the mother is not happy with the actions of the father, and now the little boy is repeating that same thing that he feels and hears from his mother. So the person was saying to me that the father does not care about his child. And I said, as a father myself, I said that's not fair for the child to think that or believe that or even have to hear that. Definitely not experience that. And I said, I really don't believe that's true. I believe, the child's father does care about the little boy. And then, the mother kept telling me so many reasons as to why the actions were not consistent with love or care. And I was saying, well, yeah, I agree with you, because the father doesn't call, doesn't ask questions, doesn't do anything. It doesn't mean that the father does not love or care for the child. I'm not finished with the story, but do you understand what I'm saying? And do you think it's possible that a father does not care just because he doesn't participate?
No, I don't think that.
You believe most men do care?
Yes.
Most men do love their children, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much. Just let me finish. So, as I began to talk, and this was exciting for me because I'm a father and I'm a man, And I understand this. My mother was a single mother. So as I'm hearing this and I'm thinking about the little boy, and I know the little boy has these traumas that he's going through now that he'll experience. So as I'm beginning to try to have this conversation with the mother and trying to say, okay, what you're possibly fostering is a lack of love for the child against the father. So of course I started to, pray and say, Lord, I probably don't have any business having this conversation, but I'm here and, I'm just going to talk. So as I began to try to talk and explain, how it's just the nature of a man to be nurturing and loving a child. And there are certain things that will cause a man to not be present or participate. And, if you had to ask that man if he loves his son, I believe he would say yes. So I'm saying all that to say this. I'm going somewhere. You're following me, right? You with me, right? You still?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what she said to me in her effort to prove to me how the father does not love the little boy. She said, when I was pregnant, I was told to not go through with it. I was told to terminate it. And I said, a light came on and went ding, 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 ding. So I had to then try to put 2 and 2 together. And then after putting 2 and 2 together and getting 4, it's like, where's this 6 coming from? There's 2 more facts here. So this couple was not married, never was married. After, conception, they started to go separate ways. And the man was very clear, I don't want this with you. Okay, yeah, it's all fair and game before conception. So, of course, after conception, after the little boy was born, the father was still saying, okay, this is not what I want with you. Okay? And time went on. We're talking, 15 years now. The boy's 15. I said 14. I think he's 15 now. And at a certain point in time, a few years after the fact, the man was forced on a child support system to where he's now having a substantial amount of his finances coming out of his pay as a result of him saying, okay, I don't want this, the mother going through with it anyway. And now he has this energy towards the mother. They are not necessarily friends. They don't get along. This went downhill from conception because from what I understand, I think it was inside of the 60 days that he was made aware when he made it clear, this is not what I want. At no time did he want the responsibility of fatherhood. And it was forced on him after conception. So because men are as weak as we can be and not as strong as we probably should be, when you have that energy going and brewing, it's never the child that most men are trying to just kind of stay clear of. It is what the Bible speaks about when the Bible says, a man would rather be it, or it's better for a man to be on a rooftop than inside of anything with a quarreling woman. So what I was able to put together was like, okay, you were dating somebody, you conceived a child. This person was very clear they did not want this with you. And because of whatever reason, women are emotional. They get tied to that and then they decide they want to do that. Personally, I think if you decide to do that on your own against a man's will, you should then not be able to go after him, for that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying it just doesn't seem fair. So I'm going to finish my story. I know I'm talking a long time and thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. Moving on, I wanted to say, okay, this man has a lot of frustration and anger built up because of what he went through and what he's being made to look like, because the things she was saying about him were not nice at all. Her facial expressions was like, it was like, whoa, a monster. She was very bitter at how she says it. And now she is now being totally supported on, what he's, on from his income to take care of herself, for the child, and whatever else, she may need. Now, I'm not taking either side with anybody. I really am not. What I really wanted to do was to try to be the good guy and somehow explain how that charge with the court is creating a type of energy that maybe even the father is not able to control. Because there's something about a man when he's violated with his sexuality and or his pockets, when it affects his livelihood, he's not really able to think right. And I do believe that maybe at some point in time, when that boy is 18 or 21 or whatever the time is of accountability, when he can really have a heart-to-heart with his father, I believe when he's now then, maybe that conversation will happen. And maybe the father will be able to say, hey, listen, I've always loved you. And all he can do at that time is apologize for the wedge. Now, some men, and I'm going to talk about me, because I'm not going to dog this man. I don't know him. I don't know about his life. Or, I've always been a different kind of, a man. And I grew up without my father. So it's a whole lot of stuff here. We're not even going to get into that. But I really can understand how a man really just not wanting to have to deal with that energy of a woman that's very, very, combative in certain kind of ways, and just like hard, just callous, because women want more than just a father. They want the man, and they're not able to look at this man go on and have another family with another woman and other children and all that stuff. So it's like, I'm not going to do this so much because I need this or I need this much. I'm going to do this just because I can. I don't have to be held accountable for the decision I made alone. So I'm going to do this just because I can. And I was hoping that in some kind of way I could have the conversation as to where, if the relationship with the child is that important, as she was saying, that maybe she should remove that legal chokehold on him in a conversation. Maybe say, hey, listen, bro, let's talk. This child is suffering. I am willing to cut a deal with you. I will remove this child support if you just take the responsibilities of a father. I'm not going to have the government in your pocket, the law in your pocket, somebody else in your pocket, and coming to my bank account or wherever it's going. If you will do that, for some reason, I believe a man would probably say, okay, I might do that. And I think somehow if a woman can sit long enough to hear how having another strong force go into another man's house and take out of his pocket, his bank account, force him, that will cause him to say, I don't want nothing to do with you. And although this is my child, my ego might be a little big right now, and I'm not going to have anything to do with the child, not because I don't love the child, but because of the stronghold that's being forced on me. Now, I'm going to bring this plane down, I'm going to land it, and I'm going to be done with it. But I wanted to talk with you, and I'm going to let you have the closing statement, because we're done now. I want to know your thoughts on who and why, there's some suffering here. I really do feel sorry for this little boy. I really do. He's not a little boy now. He's, got a little beard and a mustache, and he's, starting to talk a little deep voice a little bit, So, but
he's coming into his masculinity.
Absolutely. But he has this thing, and I believe I'm not getting into that to that degree. This was a conversation that happened. It's over. It's done. And I don't have to go back to it. But sometimes I think about it, and I know that it affects so many other people. I believe if the truth were told, and a man should not be embarrassed to say, well, I wanted, to terminate, the conception because I was not prepared for that financially. And that's just not what I wanted. That doesn't sound good, especially if you say it to a child in a certain way. He told me to put you in this place or that place.
But that should never be said to the child.
I know that. Listen. I'm cutting this short. Remember, I'm telling you short story, and I'm not even getting into the eyeballs and the neck rolling and all the other stuff and the name calling. I mean, this got to the point where I really had to do what I'm doing now. I'm being calm. And I had to go into prayer mode in the back of my mind, like, okay, this woman is definitely hurt. This child is feeling is hurting from that. This man is actually going through it as a result of this. And I really believe it ultimately started with the freedom and the lack of accountability that I think women have as it relates to being able to take this route, because it affects more than just, her emotions at the time of saying, okay, I don't want to do this on my own. Because right now, if I want to go buy a new Cadillac, because I know children are not items, but they are bills. And if I want to go and get a new Cadillac right now, I can't tell somebody else you're going to help me pay for it. I'm going to be riding around in it, but I'm going to make you help me pay for it and keep brand new tires and keep it waxed and washed, while I just profile around town because I want this new Cadillac. So I'm done. I'm finished. I hope I haven't offended anybody. I didn't mean any harm. It just kind of touched me in a certain way. It doesn't apply to me at all. I am a man. I am a father. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but I can relate to it, especially when that scorn that we know some women can have that they put on a man. It's like a chokehold, and it's like, it just makes us not be as close to certain children as we probably should be. So the floor is yours, ma'am, and thank you so much for letting me get that all out of me.
Well, first, let me start by saying thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on your podcast. I really enjoyed it. Now, moving forward to the story that you told. My ultimate feelings go out to the child. And this is why. He is the product of two people who did not have clear and concise understanding before they became intimate. I think there was things that should have been discussed that was not discussed, and protection that should have been taken on both parts. But we're going to move on from that. The child is here. She's pregnant. He doesn't want anything to do with the child, and that is his right, because he should not be forced into a situation that he is not prepared for. She has the child. She puts him on child support. The child support is, you said, a large amount where she's living off of. But this runs deeper than the money for her. It runs totally on emotions. Emotions are the fact that she felt that he should have responded differently, and he should have accepted not just the child, but her as well. And made that from a single situation to a family home, and that probably did not happen because, again, there was not clear and concise understanding before they became intimate. Sometimes people say things just to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish in the moment. Now let's get to the child support. That is very touchy, and I say this because sometimes genuine women need the support to help support, not totally support. And it should not be where he has to pay total support for both of them. And that does cause, because my saying was always, you cannot hurt a man till you start hurting his pockets. and then you see a different person. It does make, I've known men to become bitter because of it. Oh, she just did this to take me to court and get money from me. And I've known women not to take men to court and not to bother men, to just raise the child on their own because they made the decision to have the child. But dealing with these two people, I think that they should have sat down and came to an understanding as far as support. I don't think the courts should have been involved had they been mature enough to sit down and talk. Communication sometimes is the key. I know from experience that you need to have grown people conversation and take the emotion out of it and deal on the fact that we have this child. I know I decided to have this child on my own, but I need assistance. And sometimes assistance ain't always money. I will say that. Sometimes assistance is him stepping up and just being a part of the child's life. Now, you said in your story that it was a tip, it's an either or. You take me off child support, I'll be more engaged.
Well, hold on. I don't want to take that out of context. No, I'm just saying if I had to put a playbook together, and if the attention, because what she was saying is he doesn't take time with his son, and it's like, okay, if I had to, let's just say if I was going to referee and I was going to coach also, what I think is the trigger point for the man is that, you have strong-armed him into, first of all, being a father after conception, and you're now strong-arming him in his pockets. You said it yourself. If you want to hurt a man, get in his pocket, and you're right. So if you're going to begin to even have a conversation, you send a text and say, hey, Leroy, listen, I'm going to take you off child support on, November 2nd coming up, the next 2 weeks. And before I do that, I want to talk to you about it. He's going to say, huh? And he's going to sit down and he's going to pay for the fattest steak he can get because he wants to hear that story, because he doesn't want that, that chokehold on him, especially being forced. So, yeah, I think that would be a good place to start. It's probably, this is just me making a suggestion, so I don't want anybody throwing any bricks at me. But, if you make the decision, you should be held accountable for it. And I don't think, the system, society holds women as accountable as they do men, which was my original point. But go ahead.
Why do in order to have a conversation, child support or the removal of child support have to be on the table?
I'm okay. Let me answer that. Is that a real question or hypothetical?
Yes.
Is it okay? Because it is the biggest part of the deal. Okay, we know that the child is more important than money. We know that life is more important than money, but it is the only thing that separates, the cooperation point. This man would probably not, first of all, have this energy or this attitude, first of all, if he had a fair opportunity to make the choice. And number two, if he wasn't then forced to do that. That is the big picture. It's a big thing, because if it was coming out of somebody else's spot, like right now, if somebody just said, okay, because you are cute, we're going to take, $5,000 from you now, just because we just think we should. And now we know it doesn't take $5,000 a week or whatever, because I can see where, the child doesn't eat that much, and I'm just saying, and he is getting got, because, she was blasting the information. I was like, oh, that's quite a bit of money. I see why your nails look nice and, you all dutied up. It makes sense. And that's frustrating. So you saying, why does it have to be? Because it is a very massive part of why there is a separation there. There's no woman, any woman knows that how she talks is what can make a man do something different. And if that text comes through and says, hey, Leroy, I'm going to remove this child support on November 2nd. I really would like to talk to you about it. And then instead of coming like this and rolling eyes and stuff, it's say, hey, listen, I'm sorry. I should not have made that decision against, your will. I forced you into this, then I forced you. That was not fair. It may have been right and it may have been just and all that, but it just is not fair to give someone that much power over another person. As I said, this has been going on for thousands of years. Maybe me and you can break the bank tonight by, discussing it. Apologizing for that and releasing someone of that. There's always this. It's all about how you could. If you can probably, you say you can kill a person with kindness. If you send someone a letter and say, hey, listen, your child wants to talk to you or see you or wants you to come to this event or whatnot. Come watch him play basketball. He's more likely to do that if he doesn't feel forced by the scorn or by the system.
Well,
come on now, say amen. Just say amen one time for me, please.
No, I can't.
What?
And I'm gonna tell you why.
Wait, hold on a second. You ain't gonna say amen a little bit? Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. Hold on. Just hold on. Let me just play. Let me put it a different way. Just hold on. Just be patient with me. Thank you. So far, so good. Listen, you mean to tell me if I walk up to you and say, you blankety blank, give me $50, or if I come up to you and say, hey, listen, I have this check coming tomorrow. I need $50 right now, and I see you have it right here. If you please give me this $50, I'm going to give you $200 back, and I'll promise I'll have it to you before 9 a.m. in the morning. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I need to do this thing before 5 o'clock. Would you please, just give me this $50? By 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll have $250 for you. Would you do that for me? As opposed to,
Neither way, no.
I know.
That's a whole nother podcast we would have.
I know you telling an old raggedy tale. If somebody's nice to you, you can get more flies with honey than you can.
Than you do with vinegar. I know.
Right. So
let me get back to my answer to your story.
Y'all, okay, hold on a second. Y'all hear her saying no to that really nice.
It's a double no.
God almighty. All right.
I will tell you this though. What if the woman, because we don't know, what if she told the court she didn't want the money and the court said you don't have a choice?
Okay. Is that a real question?
That is a real question.
All right. Let me answer it. How about when he sends the check, she send it right back to him, give it back to him?
That she can do that as well.
Oh, then there's your answer.
But what if she said she did not want the child support? She just wanted him to spend time with the child, and he still refused.
Okay, hold on a second. And now this is now you got me. I'm on the ropes. I'm going to admit it. That's a tough one, but he still has the right. Nobody should be forced to do anything. Again, I think if you do the right thing the right way, it's likely you'll get the right result. So, of course.
I disagree.
Oh, yeah, I'm saying if you, not all the time, but chances are, that's why we do the right thing, because we expect the right result. No, it's not all the time. I could eat broccoli and cucumbers for 6 months and still only lose 10 pounds. But it doesn't mean that it's not helping. I'm not doing the right thing. If I'm eating broccoli and cucumber and you eating cheesecake and ice cream, chances are I'm going to probably be a little more healthy than you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
I agree.
So that's my point. You can't do, if somebody's just hell bent, I don't care what you do, you're not going to get it. The biggest point I'm making, and then I'm going to close. Nobody should be forced against their will to do anything. And
I agree.
Then that's where I'm going to end. I'm going to let you have the last word.
My main concern in your story that you told is the child, because you have to break what I call the generation curse, and that's raising an angry child. I feel that the mother should never criticize the father in front of the child.
We know that.
wherever their personal feelings are towards each other, that criticism should never pour over into the child, because then you poison the child against the father or vice versa. And that should never happen. They made adult decisions that the child should not pay for. And what I mean by that is in their verbal abuse of each other, the nastiness of it all. Because they are, again, in emotions. He's emotional and mad because she's getting money from him. And she's upset and emotional because he doesn't want anything to do with her or the child. And the only person that suffered the most in this is the child. Now, can they sit down as adults and say, hey, I'm going to use an example, $5,000 a month from you. How about if we cut it to $2,500? I don't need $5,000. I'm willing to give you back half. I need your assistance in raising our son. And this is why, because I feel, this is me now, I'm being a little personal. I feel that it takes a man to raise a man, a boy into a man. I've always felt that way. I won't change for no one. I always feel that it takes a man to raise a boy into a man. Women can only do so much, but it's certain things that a man experiences that can guide a young man through those times. You know, so I feel that a father who may not have wanted to be a father would be more inclined to be involved if you sit them down nicely, like you said, in front of a big state, and have an adult conversation and see if you could come to a happy medium for the sake of the child. Now, I don't know if he would be inclined to want to be a part of that child's life. If she cut it 50%, he may still say no. But at least the offer is on the table. And then there's another option. That's the option of allowing your brother, your father, your uncle, your cousin to help you raise that young man into a man. But I stand on this. I never think that a parent should disrespect or demean or degrade the other parents, regardless of the decision what their parent made.
Okay. All righty then. Okay. I said I was going to give you the last word, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna have a closing statement. Okay. All right. I really think that and I used to hear this a lot. Okay, I hope I don't get in trouble for this. Men have more control over marriage and relationships, and women have more control over sex and childbirth. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. This is very important. And if there was anything I would say as a closing statement, and you can agree with this or you can really have the last word. Because women have control over sex and childbirth, I really think that we should try to foster in society that women in particular, as it relates to being held accountable. You said it yourself, women are held more accountable and responsible than men. So I'm just going to add this to that wood pile while it's hot. I really think women should make more of an effort to, first of all, only have sex with their husbands, and definitely only bring children into the world with men that they are married to. I know that. Wait a minute. Give me my toes back. Don't stomp on them yet. Listen, I know that goes for men as well. Maybe men should not have sex with women that are not their wives. But because we know, and you just said you agreed to it, women have control over sex and childbirth. If we could at least foster that, and if you are a woman out there, please don't be mad at me, whether you've done it already or you are doing it right now or you plan to do it. Just try not to give birth to a child from a man that's not your husband And then this can really be cut down a lot, because even husbands do, kind of do what we're talking about, but it's a whole lot less likely. I think the chances of a husband not being accountable and responsible are greater than less than 90%, or less than 10%. Most men who agree to marry a woman is more likely to say, okay, I'm willing to have a child with you, and not saying, hey, listen, let's don't do this because that's not what I want with you, So I hope I didn't get my words tripped up. I'm done, but please have the last word.
I want to say that men have to take an equal responsibility in the decisions on who they sleep with. I understand that, yes, women have more power over intimacy and childbearing, but men have a choice in who they lay with. So if we're going to hold people accountable, we have to hold each party equally accountable, because it's up to the individuals to self-protect themselves from that happening.
I'm going to go ahead on and agree with you. And on that note, I am so happy that I got to talk to you. I had no idea that I would ever talk to you or even see you again, but this was great. And the moment I hang up this phone from, my audience, I'm going to call you right back, and we're going to have another kind of conversation where we might get a little louder. But I want to catch you up on where I've been, because I haven't talked to you. Well, it's been 10 years, at least 10 years at least.
It's been a long time, and I look forward to our personal conversation.
Yeah, man, because we're going to catch right on up in just a few minutes. So I'm going to let you go. I'm going to tell my audience good night. And then I'm gonna call you back in about 10 or 15 minutes, because I'm gonna go ahead and go. I'm an old man now. I like to get into bed early.
Okay, well, thank you again for having me. I enjoyed our conversation. I look forward to maybe doing this again.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good night. We'll chat in just a few minutes.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good night. Well, there you have it. Ooh, that went over a different way. Now, here's something crazy. I was thinking today, I was in the funky dumps today, and I was like, man, I ain't coming on no more. I ain't doing no more, swim. I'm just gonna stop cold. But it was this call that kind of sort of, maybe I'll do one more at least, because that's just where I was, with the whole idea. Sometimes you just get burned out. Sometimes you just get discouraged. And I don't know if this is going to do anything good, bad, or ugly, but I had some views that I wanted to share, and I don't want anybody to get mad at me. Not that I really care. I really don't care. It's just, my thoughts and my opinion. I'm entitled to it. And if anybody thinks that I'm wrong, come on my live stream and just talk to me about it. We don't have to fuss or fight. We don't have to be mad at each other. But this was a good conversation, and I appreciate it. And I'm going to let it go. And as much as I might still talk myself out of just ending swim for a little while, I think I'm at least going to do one more. So with that being said, thank you again for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Find someone you need to say I love you to. Don't just say it, but mean it and show it again and again and again. Okay? Have a good night. Love you.